Right, welcome to my second Tips from the Mustard Seed. Today I'm going to be talking about reverb and how I created or borrowed an original reverb from a Motown record. It's on the second track of the album, Quiet Life, which has got sort of a Motown-y Northern Soul type feel. So it started as an experiment and I ended up using it on this track. So if you don't already know, there's basically two types of digital reverb. There's algorithmic reverb, which is it's like a digital processing that mimics the sound of like natural environments, using maths and all kinds of processing, adding delays and stuff like this. And then so it's kind of like, in more easy to understand terms, it's like a synthetic reverb or artificial reverb, just made digitally. And then the other type is convolution reverb, which is samples of real spaces. So you would go into it could be like cathedral or a small room or anything that's got an echo, and just record the echo. So people go in and you make a noise like clap your hands or fire a gun or something. It's not meant to be like an instrument, and you just get the sound of the echo of that room. And then using a convolution reverb program, you can play your voice or your instrument through that, so you've got the sound of that room around your voice or instrument or whatever. So yeah, it's really good. Like there's the industry standard one is like Altiverb. So I was looking at getting that, but it's quite expensive. So you can do it yourself, which I kind of liked. I like the DIY aspect of collecting the sounds yourself. There's a program that comes free with Reaper called Reverb, and if you can get the samples and use them in that, you can basically create your own Altiverb. So the samples are not called samples, they're called impulse responses, just to get the terminology right. But an impulse response is basically a sample of an echo. So when I started collecting these, I thought I would try and make it my own as well, but possibly out of laziness or just curiosity, I tried to make one from a record rather than the physical environment. So sorry if this is getting a bit confusing, but I wanted to get like the Motown sound, and the beginning of Where Did Our Love Go by the Supremes has got a really famous introduction with like foot stamps and claps, and you can clearly hear like the reverb on its own. So I got the vinyl and just basically played it from a record player into my recording software here, which you can hear it starting about now. There you go. So in the gaps between those foot stomps and claps, you can hear the echo. So that is what I was trying to get, and use that as the impulse response, use that as the sample rather than going and recording in my kitchen or whatever, which could be good as well, but just haven't done it yet. So this is the little chunk that I took in between the foot stomps, and if you loop it, you can hear it there. So once I created that little chunk of echo, you can then import it into this program. See, it says file here. That's it. Where Did Our Love Go? Norm is just, it's been normalized to bring the signal up. And then wet or dried is like how much of it you want. So yeah, this is how it sounds. I'll just put it on the vocals. Where is it?
Quiet life.
I'll put a lot of it on.
I miss that quiet life when I had time.
I was kind of surprised that it actually sounds all right. It's kind of like usable because it's going to have like vinyl noise on it, crackle and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it was good because this track I had to put like saturation on and other things because it was kind of too clean for this type of sound, and this just adds a little bit of Motown dirt or magic or whatever you want to call it. I'll compare it to the other reverb that's used in the track, which is Sound Toys.
Quiet life, I miss that quiet
Like,
life.
Sound Toys are really good, and that's their plate reverb, which is probably used more in the track than mine, but
quiet life, I miss that quiet life. When I had time to burn
can't listen to
and
mine just on
many
its own. That's what it sounds like.
Quiet life, when I could
This is it in the
sleep
track.
at night without a toss or turn, keeping me awake.
So yeah, if anyone wants to experiment with it, there should be a link in the YouTube description, which is a Dropbox link to my folder of impulse responses, which I've been collecting, and anyone can have it and share it around, and yeah, hopefully someone finds it useful as well. And if you have any good ones you want to swap, let me know, or if you've experimented yourself and have tried creating some. So like the next thing I should do is create some proper ones, actually get out of my chair and go somewhere and do it. But I like that experiment of just trying to get some of the original Motown sound into the recording. Like, even if it's only there a little bit, it just kind of, you know, I find it amazing that you've got this chamber and it's now on some of our music. And I think it's important in the studio to just still get, like, you know, excited and enthusiastic about stuff like that, because you can easily just get dragged into everything being like noughts and ones and engineering. So yeah, anything that sort of gets you excited like that is worth exploring, I think. And yeah, I hope you found that useful. Any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll get back to you. Thanks. See you next time.